But again, success. So I was tied to this idea of success. Like, I want to be rich. I want to be famous. I talked about this before, like being an artist. And I thought that was what success was. I thought that's what success had to look like for me as an artist. I need to be able to be making money so that I can, get my people out of debt, save my family from struggling, that kind of thing. And I felt so frustrated because I was like, I'm not making millions of dollars from my art. I'm not making thousands of dollars from my art, if I can be completely honest, right? Like, a lot of the projects I put out, they're for free. A lot of the gigs that I take for photography, I kind of underprice myself, which I'm learning about, and I'm trying to rectify that. But I really felt like nothing I was doing was popping. Like, nothing was popping. Nothing was like sticking for me. And I'm like, I'm a failure. And I would be, making music for years. And even at this point, it's like, I ain't got no record deal. Not that I necessarily want one, but I don't have a record deal. I'm not touring the country. I mean, pre-COVID, of course. I'm not, I publish books. They're not bestsellers. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, God, so am I a failure? Am I a failure? And what I realized is that I was basing my success on what other people wanted for either themselves or for other people. There are people higher up that have all this money, all this access, all this fame and wealth, and they say, oh, I'm successful. And so we give them the power to be like, oh, this is what success looks like, right? Like, this rich person, this is them being successful. Like, and so, yeah, if I'm comparing myself to a Rihanna or like, I don't know, I hate to say Beyonce because there's so many other examples, but if I'm comparing myself to these people, yeah, I'm a failure, right? I'm not a successful person, if that is what success looks like. But I realized that I had my own definition for success. Like, I have goals. Like, I have goals for myself that I want. And they don't necessarily line up with what, the rich and famous people's definition of success is, or what I can perceive it to be, right? So do I want to be a millionaire? Not necessarily. Like, would I deny $1 million? Absolutely not. I would take it. But, my goal has never been to be a millionaire. My goal has never been to be famous even. I feel like when I was younger, I wanted to be famous. But again, like I talked about before, I wanted fame because I wanted to feel relevant. I wanted to feel loved. I wanted to feel worthy. I didn't really necessarily want a lot of people in my business or like all the stuff that comes with fame. I really didn't have any idea of what really came with fame at 12 years old, But now that I'm older, I have more, I have more understanding around what fame brings. And so people will love you today and hate you tomorrow. And I don't necessarily want that. And I know that I'm sensitive. Like I keep saying, I'm very sensitive. And I don't make any apologies for it now. But I know that my sensitive self probably would not survive as a super famous person. And so it's like, do I want fame? No. I just want to feel loved. I want to feel whole. I want to feel like I belong. I want to feel like I'm making an impact. Like, these are the things that success means to me. So some goals that I do have, and we'll start drawing and doodling in a second. But some goals that I do have include getting out of debt. If I could make enough money with my art to shut Sally Mae up and stop her from calling my phone, that would be successful for me. Like, that would be a goal that I'm trying to hit. Like, that's something within reach. Like, I feel like when you say like, oh, I want to be famous, it's kind of like you can't grab it, you can't hold it, right? Like, success is not in order to be successful, I feel like you have to have an understanding of what you really want and why, right? So again, if I want to be famous, what does that mean? What does that really mean to be famous? That everybody knows your name? There are a lot of infamous people, you know what I'm saying? And people know their name. And again, just because you're famous, look at TLC, right? Just because you're famous don't mean you have money. Just because you're famous and well known doesn't mean you're well. Like, there are so many people who are famous that unfortunately like have suffered mental illnesses, have suffered loss, have made wrong decisions, have been influenced or had their back stabbed by close friends. You know what I mean? And so it's like, do I really want to be famous? Nah. So now this goal of, okay, I want to get out of debt. Like, that is something I can see, I can hold, I can measure. And so it's like, okay, this is a goal for me. Like, I want to get out of debt, right? So I can become a zero heir, right? And so there's this thing by Dave Ramsey. I don't know if you all follow him, But basically his whole thing is like trying to get people out of debt. And so the whole point is you're trying to get out of debt so that you become a zero heir, so that you actually can build wealth. Because right now, my wealth, right, is in the negative because of how many loans I owe and how much money I owe on student loans. So anyway, if I could like do that, get rid of my debt, then I can take a deep breath. Then I can feel like, okay, now I can start doing something to build. Like I can't even build because I'm, again, in the negative. Anywho. So to me, that's one of my goals. Another